Welcome to PACTV Community News. I'm Maureen Boyle.
And I'm Julie Thompson.
This week on PCN, we learn the value of knowing Pet CPR in Cedarville.
We stop by the police swearing-in and promotion ceremony at the Pembroke Town Hall, and the Oysterman in Duxbury has expanded and has opened a new business, The Anchor.
We take a look at how art can improve our public parks at Holmes Skate Park, and we have a new citizens profile with John Dorn of Brewster Productions.
We also have Melissa Arrighi, Plymouth Town manager, on set for Town Talk, but we start tonight's show in Kingston, at the Kingston Collection. Malls all over the country are experiencing major changes to their traditional brick and mortar shops and department stores. They're expanding to include entertainment, gourmet dining, and yes, even housing and hotels. The Kingston Collection was just approved by the town of Kingston to expand and improve in this manner. We spoke with the general manager to hear about the exciting plans that lay ahead.
This is actually step one of a, let's call it a 1,000-step process. So what we needed to do was, we here on this piece of property, we are commercially zoned. So in order to add residential, what we needed to do was we needed to go to the town of Kingston and to the people of Kingston and ask them to put a zoning overlay on our property that we could add housing to it. The other piece of that is we needed the zoning change to bring us up to 4 stories or 55 feet, which will allow us to add the 4-story, 100 to 150 key hotel, and then we've been approved to do upwards of 300 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, 50% of them being 1 bedroom, 45% of them being 2 bedrooms, and a maximum of 5% being 3 bedrooms and above. And those 3 bedrooms, let's call them quote-unquote penthouses, will be on the 4th floor and have a beautiful overlook of the ocean. And then also in part of that, one of the things that we committed to was that we would have 10% affordable housing. So we're going to rip down about 30,000 square feet of the existing mall located directly next to Bar Rustic. That's where the hotel will actually be. And we will actually insert the hotel there. So it'll be a 4-story hotel there. It's a fantastic brand. I wish I could say it now. We just haven't gotten to that point yet. But it's going to be great. It's upwards of 150 keys, and it's just going to be an actual beautiful addition to the building. When you have a hotel in your town, there's a hotel tax. So let's just say that hotel tax is $11 a day. That goes directly to the town. It doesn't go to the state. It doesn't go to the vendor. It goes directly to the town. Right? So there's a potential of $1,000 a day in tax revenue heading directly to the coffers of the town with nothing attached to it. Right? So the things that the town then can do with that is astronomical.
This month, PCN stopped by the Cedarville Fire Station to learn more about CPR, a course on how to perform different kinds of emergency treatment on our 4-legged friends. It's not often that we stop and think about how to help out our little furry pals, but this presentation instilled the tools needed to stay calm and regain precious minutes that can save your pet's life. Check it out.
Today is a fundraiser Pet CPR and First Aid training class. It's a hands-on training class. It's designed to benefit the portion of the proceeds will benefit the Plymouth Animal Shelter. Most of my training classes that I do are that structured that way. They're fundraiser training classes. It's a hands-on training class taught by me. I'm a 28-year medic, and it's designed to teach pet parents and pet care professionals just a way to mitigate the emergency. Rather than just drive really fast to the hospital, we want them to actually stop the life-threatening bleed. Breathe for that non-breathing patient. You know, pets without oxygen for 7 minutes during the car ride, there's not a good chance of them surviving. But now if you're actively doing CPR or whatever the case is, you hand off a viable patient to the vet who now has something to work with. So if you or I were ill or injured, we'd call 911 and an ambulance would show up. You don't have that with a pet. So rather than just drive really fast, they're actually able to mitigate and in essence stop the emergency and then hand the vet a viable patient to deal with. I've been doing Pet CPR First Aid training now for 5 years. I'm just coming up on 800 students trained by me individually. I've been, as I say, a medic and an educator for 28 years, very busy neighborhoods in New York and New York City. And I've also taught human CPR and First Aid for over 20 years, so this was just a natural progression into the pet world. It's geared to dogs and cats specifically. However, a lot of the skills that we teach you can be adapted to other animals, iguanas, ferrets, whatever you have. If they have a snout, even if they don't have a snout, you can do CPR on them, but the focus here today is dogs and cats. I teach throughout the Northeast. I'm based in New York, Long Island, New York, but I teach all over, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania. This is actually our first Massachusetts class. We had a very positive response. We have 25 students today, and I typically teach anywhere from 10 up to 40 students in a class. It's very well received by the pet community. We're going to be covering emergency muzzling, how to humanely restrain them. We'll teach them bleeding control, which will also include dealing with amputations, impalements. We'll teach them CPR and choking for all size dogs and cats. There's 3 different techniques. A lot of hands-on training. It's not just, there's no video, there's no PowerPoint. It's, I demonstrate it, they see how to do it, and they do it repeatedly. We teach them through muscle memory, so that 6 months from now, if something happens, they go right to work. They don't say, what did the video say? They go right to work for muscle memory. So that's the key advantage to my class. And being taught by a medic, obviously, is a very different class. You'll have 25 more people trained and being able to get the word out there, and they're going to make a few bucks to support their operation, so it's a win-win for everybody. Short constantly, you might have to just take this and stretch it a little bit, because again, they're new.
It is not all that often that the Pembroke Police Department gets to promote members of its force, but when they do, the Town Council will hold a special ceremony to commemorate the occasion. PCN stopped in to bring you this special story about some of Pembroke's finest.
Tonight I had the pleasure of making 3 promotions for the Town of Pembroke's Police Department. Lieutenant Wendy LaPierre, Sergeant Ryan Botto, and Sergeant Sean Reedy. All are going to be a great addition to the police department. We're going to fill some holes, and again, we're looking at the future, and it's looking very positive right now. A lot of police officers never get promoted in their career because there's not a lot of upward mobility. You know, there's only 5 sergeants, 6 sergeants in the police department, 2 lieutenants, and 1 chief. So upward mobility is sometimes kind of limited. A night like tonight is great. Family shows up, friends, other police officers, you know, to show their support. It's been, well, you saw it's a packed room. And a police officer has to wear so many different hats. I mean, we do a lot of social work. We do a lot of preventative measures. It's not just, you know, locking up bad guys and writing tickets. I mean, that is just one small part of what we do. And the majority of what we do is help citizens cope and get along and live a happy life in the town of Pembroke. And that really requires the officers to know the town and know the people and to be integral with them every day, not just when in a crisis situation. I mean, being a mentor is one of the things. Now, all of these officers have had a role in mentoring younger officers. 2 of them are field training officers, which right from their very first time on the job, they work with Ryan, they work with Sean, and they develop those good habits and good traits that they need to be a good police officer. The town has 31 great police officers. We really have a strong department, good family people, good community sense. This town is very fortunate, and as a chief, I couldn't ask for a better department to work for.
How wonderful. As a Pembroke resident, I am so proud of our police department, and Chief Wall said it right. We have 31 officers, and every one of them does so much more than most people even are aware of. And congratulations to those 3 people promoted, especially to Wendy, the first lieutenant ever, female lieutenant. So good for her.
Yeah, it's really great. I can't echo, basically I can't echo anymore what you just said, because it's right, hits the nail on the head. They're a special group of people. Yeah, they feel like part of the community rather than a force, if you will.
Yep, they are.
And congratulations to those awarded. Please. It feels like it was just yesterday that PCN popped into the Oysterman in Duxbury for local eats. Now we return to Duxbury to bring you the new addition to the business, the Anchor. Duxbury now has a little lunch and breakfast spot managed and owned by the same folks as the Oysterman, but this time serving you fresh coffee and breakfast burritos. PCN just had to swing by to get a taste.
So Dermot and I both have been in the business for a long time. The Oysterman was my first time having any ownership. And Dermot is definitely a big picture. He's got such a passion for the design and concept of a menu, from everything from the design of the building to the design of the menu. And my skill set was in operations, so we partnered up. I always say I'm the how high guy. So he says jump, I say how high, and I take his vision and try to make that run. all the decisions we make are part of being a good neighbor and being an asset to the community. And I think we've done that with the Oysterman. We've created something that wasn't there, we filled a need that wasn't there, and we want to do the same thing with the anchor. And it's really exciting to see how that develops, because your idea of what something's going to be and where it finally ends up are sometimes totally different things, and sometimes actually even better than you hoped it would be. And that's definitely happened with the Oysterman, and we're hoping that happens with the anchor as well. We had the opportunity to take this space, which was zoned to be a restaurant. Like the Oysterman, we wanted to do something that would enhance the town and the current development that's been put together here in Pembroke. And we thought one thing the town didn't have was burritos. And from that we grew to coffee and burritos. And for a while that might have been the name, and then we came up with the anchor. Everything is, our idea is all fresh food made quickly. So when you order the burrito, there's nothing that's pre-made. Everything is made grilled fresh and rolled fresh as you make it. A big part of our menu was the sandwiches that we did. They're all named after people in the town. So we have the Martha, who's named after Martha Allen, who's born and raised on Washington Street. She's in her 80s, and she's an amazing lady. We have the coach, for Coach Mamron, who coached the Duxbury football team. A good friend of ours, Chris Magwood, has a sandwich. Giuliano, of course, he got the Italian. And the Bennett, for Skip Bennett, who's we made a lobster roll for Skip, but his father was a lobsterman, so we thought that tied in nicely to the community, and he's been such a big part of Duxbury as well. We hope it grows with the community. This whole project that Giuliano Enterprises put together, this Millbrook, has fundamentally changed this area. From when we first started 2 years ago, there was nothing here. Now there's new buildings, and there's a vibrancy to the neighborhood, which wasn't there before, and we want to enhance that and be a part of that.
The Holmes Skate Park in Plymouth has undergone the first phase of its transformation with a new mural on the formerly drab gray wall. We spoke with the town planner as well as a member of the Plymouth Bay Cultural District to get a better understanding of the importance of this public art initiative in the town of Plymouth.
This is the Holmes Skate Park, and this is a mural on an existing wall that's been here, and it's been an ugly gray wall for years, and it was a perfect opportunity to bring students together and young people in the community to create a mural to bring this place to life and to help out and create a beautiful, interesting spot for the community and the kids to enjoy. We're going to be acknowledging the sponsors and donors of the crowdfunding initiative, and we're going to be acknowledging and thanking the students for their creative artwork and their community involvement and community service on this project that they worked on. Last fall, we received all the funding to go forward. We met with Lauren Jazworski, the art teacher in the high school, and Mike Capel, who's the director of visual and performing arts, and we talked about a curriculum for the high school students to work on a mural initiative. She created a portfolio prep class, and that class throughout this last semester came up with a design, worked on preliminary ideas together, pieced together an overall mural, and then came out to the site to actually install it.
This initiative, this Arts and History initiative, has been a community-wide project. The funding that came was essentially from the public. So while we had our major donors, our corporate donors, we also had lots of people who donated to Patronicity, our crowdfunding resource. $10, $25, $50, it all matters, and it all brought us to that essential $13,000 that allowed us to get matching funds by Mass Development. Bringing the talent of youth into a public art forum is essential. We want them to embrace their community. We want to be able to recognize their talent. They are our future, and this is their home, and they should feel a connection, a real personal connection with their community.
This is actually a first part of an initiative for this whole park. This whole park is being renovated, and I think the start of the renovations will going to begin in the fall of this year. So this whole skate park will be renovated, the park area. They're looking at the dam work on Holmes Dam. So this is a first step. So the beautifying a park that a lot of kids love to come here and embrace it, but we want to beautify it and make it a beautiful place for the community.
For the past several years, local filmmaker, music lover, and Plymouth native John Dorn has held a summer concert series hosted by the Plymouth Antiquarian Society on the lawn of the Hedge House. We dropped by the Acoustic Nights concert to bring you this Local Boy Makes Good story.
Welcome to the Acoustic Nights Summer Concert Series. We're here in our 11th season.
Acoustic Nights Summer Concert Series, we think of it as kind of an outdoor coffee house, sort of inspired by places like Club Passim and the folk coffee house sort of vibe. And that it started out as a way to get local musicians a place to play. And it's really just sort of like a relaxing summer night thing to do in a way, and a big part of it is the music scene and giving artists a place to perform and play a show.
I can't recall a time I felt this way.
I'm originally from right here in Plymouth, and I grew up going to concerts, making fun, like silly movies with my friends, and that morphed into working in the music industry, producing concerts, and also working as a filmmaker. And so the main thing I do is I run, own and operate 4-string films. I do video production and working on like independent film, and I teach film production at Emerson College and Community College of Rhode Island. And so, my big thing really is film. That's kind of the career I'm pursuing, and education, teaching, and producing film. And I have a real passion for concerts and live music and music in general. And so I've been doing these concerts for a long time with my friends and now with my wife, Eva Walsh. And really we just love helping to do our small part to foster the local arts scene in whatever way we can, whether that's contributing our own art, like me as a filmmaker, or giving a stage to musicians to perform their art. When people come to the concert series, we want them to, come into an inviting atmosphere, kind of feel that like coffee house vibe, only outdoors, and really discover new music. A lot of times people come to see somebody they know, but more often than not, the audience members come and they discover new music, and that's really our goal here, is to introduce the audience to new original music for up and coming artists that they can buy a CD and listen to and watch them kind of grow.
We are so pleased to have back on set today Melissa Arrighi, who is the town manager for Plymouth. Welcome back, Melissa.
Thank you.
We haven't had Melissa for a while, so we have a lot to catch up on. It is August, it's the end of July, beginning of August, and what is going on, the big things going on in Plymouth? And I know you wanted to start with talking about dredging.
We do. We have a couple projects that you see as you go around town. We certainly have construction projects going on. Unfortunately, because of the season, some of those projects are in areas where tourists and residents want to be, and of course I'm talking about the park, Nelson Park, and the fact that the splash pad is not up and running yet. The one thing I can tell everybody that we have done is we've started to work into our contracts a penalty for when these contractors run late for whatever reason it is. We can hold back money. Now, that's good news in terms of finances. It's not good news in terms of you just want to be able to use the park, and we understand it. I think that I'm especially disappointed because we were trying that new pilot program this year of being able to bring in food trucks.
Yes.
So, but we're going to stick at it, keep pushing the contractor, hopefully have that up and running soon.
Okay.
Dredging. Now, dredging won't be until this winter.
Okay.
But we were able to see such a huge amount of support from the federal government when they provided us with the money to do they're doing it, the Army Corps of Engineers, to do the federal dredging.
Yep.
What we're trying to do locally is partner with the state, state delegation, to see if we can go to town meeting, most likely in the spring, to provide local funds, which will then entice the state and the governor to do a match to those local funds, and then we will be able to dredge at the same time there's dredging equipment out there. We'll be able to dredge all around State Pier, where the Mayflower 2 sits, around Town Wharf and the T Wharf, have to move all those moorings out and really be able to dredge in there, something that we've needed to do for years.
For a long, long time.
And I believe the town will be really supportive because we've had such great ability to match the funding elsewhere. And if we can get all of this done by 2020, which is the goal,
right,
I think that will be fantastic.
Right.
Now, there's always a hiccup in every process, and with this one, it's the amount of permitting, both at the state and federal level, that you have to dredge.
Okay.
But our Department of Marine and Environmental Affairs is working really hard on this with a local engineering company, and I think we'll see a success in the spring.
And what exactly is the state responsible for dredging versus what the town will be responsible for?
It will just be the town's responsibility to do the dredging. We just seek additional funding from the state to help with it. So let's say we need about $5 million. It seems like under this governor and lieutenant governor, they're very supportive when there's a local match.
Yep.
So if we go to town meeting asking for $2.5 million, then the state provides us with the $2.5 million, coupled with the over $14 million we see from the federal government.
Yeah, you're all set.
We can get this done.
That's great. And when is the Mayflower 2 coming back? 2019?
Yes.
So you want it done before then? Or you work around that?
I'm going to have to talk to David and the selectmen about how that will work, but certainly it would seem to me, now we don't do dredging all the time, but it would seem to me that we would start in that area.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Okay, Taylor Avenue, talk to me about that.
So we've been doing some work and plans down in the Manomet area this year. Taylor Avenue is going to be one of those projects that so desperately needs to be done, but it's going to be pervasive and intrusive, and it's going to frustrate the people in that area.
What is it exactly?
It is a full reconstruction of Taylor Avenue. So as you go down there now, it will be wider. It will be completely paved over to further sides, which means that's going in the town's road layout, which many people landscape right up to the end of their lawn, in many ways becoming accustomed to the fact that is their lawn, and of course we're going to be widening that so that
you get 10
has
feet or
already
something.
created some anxiety. When the construction itself is going on, that area can be tight. Not all the construction can be done off season. And then of course the bridge will need to be done. So I think in between, of course, there's storms and things that they worry about down there, including this most recent issue with Bartlett Brook and bacteria levels that were in there. So it's going to be a tough balance. The state is responsible for the project. They have picked a contractor, and we'll provide as much information as we can on the website.
Get it. Okay, when you get it. Excellent. And the bacteria level, the cyanobacteria, is that being treated or ongoing?
So the cyanobacteria has been flushed out now.
Great.
Just from the natural tides. There are still high bacteria levels. That's not really a swimming spot. Now, when I say that, what I mean by that is certainly not that I can see why it's enticing for people down there to wade and go in there. But that's certainly not an area where we promote swimming, like in some of our ponds and areas in the town where we put on a lifeguard. But from a public health perspective, we need to post the area, test it more regularly, and I think that we'll be able to do that. We also have to test some of the other ponds in town. We have a sewer system here, a public sewer system that has over 15,000, about 5,000 users on the sewer system, but we have majority of this town has Title V, and even some still have cesspools. And that is a problem for many of the riverways, and I think that we need to address that, and I hate to use the word aggressive on TV, but in a more thorough manner, and in honesty, more quickly. I mean, we need to get moving on having these systems upgraded to something that will work. Now, I believe it was at a recent selectmen's meeting, the Board of Selectmen did approve another working group that would work with our public health director to say what can be done at this specific area and what other key areas where people go in the water should we be looking at that may also be affected by septic systems in the area and leaching. And they're looking at that now, but I've said to them that those outcomes could be quite a variety. I mean, if you think about that, if you have to fix a septic issue in an area of town where the houses could be close together, what are the solutions? Is it those properties can't have the kind of volume they have in the past? Is it that you don't allow any more building or expansion in that area? Is it, may I even say, taking of the property or purchasing it? Is it requiring that they build a treatment plant, which would be very expensive? Is it tight tanks? Is that even feasible for the area? So this group will be exploring all of
the
that,
options,
but I always worry we have to come up with the solutions, but but they are often costly.
Yep, absolutely. Fats, oils, and greases. Speaking of sewage,
Yeah.
talk about fats, oils, and greases,
We're
will you?
on that. What did we? Oh no, sorry. I was going to say we're going to dredge that up again because of
that
your
would've been
assistant,
cute.
but
Yep.
with the dredging up, fats, oils, and greases.
She'll be
So-
here all week.
The fats, oils, and greases is important. I think everybody in town knows that we're engaged in litigation with Veolia, who operates the wastewater treatment plant.
Yep.
But on top of that litigation, the Attorney General's office also took exception to the fact that the town of Plymouth is the owner of that property and Veolia is the operator, and we both bear some responsibility in making sure that that sewer infrastructure is kept in tip-top shape.
Right, and that means restaurants cannot put fats, oils, and greases into
They
the
should
system.
not be putting
Okay.
those down through the systems.
Right.
They
Nobody should.
have sophisticated, you're
Yep.
right, even in their own system.
Right.
There should be sophisticated fat, oil, grease separators
Yep.
in place. So as part of a settlement that we have with the Attorney General's office and the Department of Environmental Protection, we have agreed to concentrate educate and enforce new methods of disposing of fats, oils, and greases and separating them out, particularly at restaurants.
Yep.
Now, we had a report done on the amount of restaurants that we have on the sewer system, and I think it was almost 150
Oh, I'm
or
sure.
so.
Yep.
And many of these restaurants don't have the level of sophisticated equipment that the Attorney General's office would like to see.
Right.
So the AG's office has given us strict deadlines, and we have agreed to comply with those. We'll
Okay.
be working with the Public Health Director as well as the Board of Health on how do we get this information out?
Right.
How do we put these new regulations in place at town meeting?
Yep.
Let all those restaurants know they're
Yep.
going to be expected to
Yep.
upgrade, and finally, we need to do more inspections.
Right.
And all of that will be part of this
Okay.
program that we'll have over the next couple months.
Okay, so more to follow on that. You give us an update next time you're on
I
here.
will.
Okay, well, our 10 minutes is gone.
Oh,
bang.
okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
Sure.
And I look forward to next time Melissa Arrighi's on set with us. Thank you for watching. If you want to see the show again, you can check out our website, and PCN is also on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook to get up-to-date info. We'll see you next week with a brand new PCN. From all of us at PACTV, have a great week.